Welcome back to the Crypto Factory. Welcome back to another show. We have Gareth Soloway here again, twice a month, talking about charts, talking about gold, talking about Bitcoin and crypto. And we do have some surprises for you today because we will be talking about certain other coins, certain other cryptocurrencies. And you know my view, I only chart Bitcoin, but I'm going to get Gareth to do some more. Welcome back, Gareth. Thank you so much for being here again.
Thank you so much, buddy. It's so good to be back.
So I got a little jealous and I bought myself a desktop computer, the actual case, and guess which one I have?
Which one?
The one with all the colors that you have in the background.
Nice.
I got the same one. It is
the pretty one.
Beautiful. You also have the little app that you can control different colors, different speeds and everything.
Oh, I don't have that, man. You got the next up version.
Nope, download it, man. Download it. It's on yours as well. We have exactly the same one.
Awesome. Cool. I'll have to look into that. Next time you'll see different colors going by.
Cool. Yeah, you can do like different colors, stats. You can do like all blue or all whatever. You can do it like a heartbeat, which is pretty cool for Bitcoin right now and everything. What's going on with that? Nice. What's new with you, man? Anything new?
Oh, been busy, man. Been busy. My one of my little girls poked me in the eye, so I'm a little swollen on the eye over here. But that's just part of dad life, you know. What can you do?
Kung Fu, Bruce
yeah,
Lee.
That's right, man. They were teaching. We were teaching each other, you know. So a little rough housing, but it's just the nature of being a dad and having a little fun with the kids. So other than that, everything's going wonderfully well. You know, loving the price action on Bitcoin. Bitcoin looked like a breakdown yesterday, and then got saved and is moving back up a little bit. So interesting to see.
Yeah, it is interesting. I said it was going to go back up, but I admit that yesterday was a lucky break for me. I got the rest right. But yesterday I was just like, I'm wearing a green shirt. Let it go up.
Nice. Nice.
But yeah, no, I was pretty cool with it, actually, to be quite honest. I wasn't worried about it. We talked about this many times. But I have some more news. Bitbulls is coming out. Bitbulls.io is coming out soon. And I just got into the Bitcoin ATM business.
Ooh, cool. That's exciting.
I'm signing. I got exclusivity for 3 islands in Greece, one of them being Santorini.
Congrats.
So yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Or us going broke, one of the two.
Well, either way, it's fun. That's
those
the
machines
key.
are expensive, dude.
Oh, I could only imagine.
Especially in Europe, they're like 40,000 euros a piece. Well, 30,000, 10,000 for fixing them up and everything. It's crazy.
So how does so explain to me how it works? Like, do you put in a credit card and it charges your credit card and you get a Bitcoin, or like, how does that all work?
You work with your Bitcoin wallet. You go over there, you scan it, and you can buy or sell. So you can put cash in and buy Bitcoin, or you can sell Bitcoin, and you make the difference on the spread.
Wonderful. Wow, great business, man. Great business.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I can't wait. I can't wait. So let's talk a little bit about the charts. Let's see what's going on. Gareth, we're killing it, man. We killed it all. We called everything. I don't know how your year's going.
Yeah.
But as long as you were on this channel, we're getting everything right, man.
We are doing that. And I assume you're talking about the last time we talked. We were right up here. We talked about a pullback, and sure enough, it just happens magically, huh?
Yeah, and we also talked about the 41 to 42K support. Okay, It went down to the 40K psychological, which is my favorite number. But yeah, we're there.
Yeah, we're there, and I did buy a little Bitcoin. So the key is what I ended up doing. So we were short right up here, which was the obvious level, the resistance point right up here. And then as we came down, I covered my short right in here, and I actually flipped it into a small long position right in this area, right, really just a hair below 40,000. I waited for that even number pierce, and then we're just basically holding. As long as we're holding support here, I think it's worthwhile to let it run, and maybe it'll get up to 42, 44,000 is a possibility here.
Yeah, I'm looking for it to pass that, man. I'm looking for it to pass that. I'll tell you this: if it doesn't in the next week or two, I'm going to start getting worried.
Gotcha. Yeah, I would happen to agree with you, because if it doesn't get really above, I would say 43, it's creating a bear flag, and that's what you got to be worried about for sure.
Yeah, plus it's been too long. Like it's nothing stays like I feel like it's gonna break out hard either direction. So let's hope it's to the upside. We'll see. If not, guess we're gonna buy more Bitcoin. But it could also go to an extended bear market if that happens. But I'm very bullish. Again, I'm wearing my green shirt. I'm pretty bullish.
Yeah, I see that, man. Very nice. So what do you think in the upside could be then? What are you looking for potentially? Back
I'm
to
look,
the upper end of the channel?
yeah, but not straight away. Obviously, 44, 45K, then back down to 43, then up again to break that, then about
Nice.
48K, then we'll see.
All right.
But
Interesting,
that's
man. I mean, I hope you're right for the bulls out there. I'm a little bit more pessimistic on the situation, even though I'm long. It's just a quick trade for me, maybe up to 42 to 44,000. And then I honestly eventually believe it's going to break down, unfortunately, just because of the chart pattern formation.
yeah. Yeah, though it has hit that resistance line a lot, so it's getting weaker and weaker every
It
time,
is.
isn't it? But
It
then
is.
again, Gareth, look at the 37.5 and 38K level. It gets bought up quick.
Yeah.
It doesn't stay down there long enough to weaken it. Do you know
Yeah,
what I
down
mean?
here, I mean, you're right about that. It pierced here and then very quickly it ripped back up. So, I mean, that was a good sign. There were definitely buyers down there that swooped in heavily and bought up anything, really anything below 40,000. They bought up very, very quickly.
Yeah. So what about you're not in Europe, but you heard about the exchanges freezing accounts and everything, or no?
Yeah, yeah. So tell me a little bit about that, man. What's going on there?
Yeah, so basically what happened was they were talking about Bitstamp. It's a European exchange, a very credible one, actually. I used to trade there. And what they did was they froze accounts for further KYC. It's not the further KYC that pissed us off. It's the fact that they just froze the account until you do that with no warning.
Yeah, that's messed up.
And then what happened was Coin Metro, a fully regulated and licensed exchange, but they never do anything unless they don't have to. They sent an email that they're going to do the same thing, but they actually gave you some time to withdraw your funds before they put it into play.
Oh,
which tells me two things. Number one, it's telling me that Bitforex could have done it better. They could have given you some time to move your. I thought that was below the belt. I thought that was uncalled for. Shame on you, shame on you, Bitstamp. Just shame on you. And as for Coin Metro, they're going by the book, which tells me more exchanges are going to follow suit sooner or later. Now, does this apply for exchanges just in Europe, or does it apply for exchanges outside Europe if you're a European citizen?
Oh, interesting.
And if that's the case, I already got most of my. I trade on a few exchanges, major exchanges, but I keep quite a bit of stacked in there for swing trades. I took most of it out, man. I took most of it out, and we were even going to chart a coin where I had to sell half of it into Ethereum so I can get it off that exchange, which I didn't want to do. But I did more than half of it, actually. But I did 60% just to get it off the exchange, not because I'm paranoid, but at the end of the day, not your keys, not your crypto. Proven once again, Gareth. Proven once again.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's some crazy stuff going on out there. And again, you got to navigate it as, relatively new crypto space, considering and there's going to be things that pop up like this, and we just have to do our best to navigate them.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's look at the stock market. Let's see what's going on with S&P 500 here.
Yeah. So nice pop today on the S&P. I mean, ripping higher, basically highs of the day. And what's interesting about the S&P here is that you're basically just chopping, right? So if you look here, down, down, up, down, pause, up, and you're basically forming this kind of sideways choppy action like this. My guess is there's further upside to go, but it looks to me like you're stuck in this wedge pattern, right? So if you connect these kind of lows here, you have support, and then your downside to here. And again, generally, you're looking for which way does it break? Does it break this way or this way? And then you get the bigger move in that direction. So again, a lot of chop right now, a lot of kind of uncertainty. We see interest rates going up. The 10-year is just continuing to climb up, getting close to 3%. That's not good for stocks, obviously. But the key yesterday was that a president, it was the Federal Reserve President Bullard came out and basically said that he thinks that the market has fully factored in the rates as high as they're going to go. So all of a sudden now the market's saying, oh, well, maybe we're only going to 3%, in which case we're already there. And then it's rally on right now. Now, I'm not a believer that the end of the road is here yet. I still think there's more downside in the markets, but certainly in the short term, that's a positive.
Yeah, one thing that people fail to understand, at least from what my observations are, and I think you're going to agree with this. Yes, interest rates, they affect the stock market and cryptocurrency, obviously, because it's correlated, but not the way people think. For example, if interest rates it's if interest rates go down, yes, that's good for crypto and high risk investments. But if you notice, when interest rates went up anytime in history, the markets didn't really go down. They just went a little bit towards the upside anyway, just on a slower rate.
Right.
I just think people are hearing the same thing over and over, getting scared of everything over and over. And this is why I like charts and I like looking at price over everything, because literally this is all noise to me. This is all noise.
No, you're right. I mean, it's important to recognize why rates are going up, right? So are rates going up because the economy is accelerating and then the Federal Reserve wants to slow it down just a little bit to keep inflation at bay? That's what we've seen for the last 20 plus years is what's been happening. Now you have a situation where the Fed is forced to raise rates very aggressively, not because the economy is ripping, but because inflation has just gotten way out of control. So it's a little bit of a near-term uncharted territory, which I think is going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I also wonder if the markets have gotten so addicted to that printing of money. So far it hasn't been that nasty of a sell-off from the all-time highs, but we have to see, does this continue? If the Fed really is taking liquidity out of the system, how does crypto fare? Crypto's never been in a market where we've seen interest rates rising dramatically or high inflation. Same thing for the stock market. It's been over 20 years.
True, but and at the other point of spectrum from there, I don't think the economy has anything to do with the markets.
You mean like the economy and the stock? Yeah. So what are you saying?
The economy can be going bad and the markets can be going great and vice versa. And this has happened time to time.
Right. And you're right about that, mainly because when things are bad, the Fed tends to print a ton of money, right?
Got you. Okay.
And when they print a ton of money, no one cares. I mean, the end of the world could be here. If we're flush in cash, no one seems to care.
Very true. Very true. What about gold? What's going on with gold? Because I care about my gold, man. I care about my gold.
Yeah, you and me both, buddy. You and me both. So let's take a look at gold here and see what we got going on. Gold's having a big down day today. I'm actually kind of, so I unloaded my swing trade on gold when we had this initial pop up. And I've been patiently waiting because I actually have a lower target where it should go to. But what I love about this chart on gold is look at how this trend line kind of marks the lows here. And this one marks the highs, except for this one pop. And the reason to explain this one pop, this was when the invasion started in Ukraine, when Russia invaded. So you kind of got this crazy panic buying on gold. It then very quickly reversed and it came back in this channel. So in the very least, it makes sense to assume gold should come back to this area right here. And then we'll see if it comes back a little bit. Ultimately, this is all near-term chatter that I'm talking about. Longer term, 3, 6, 9, 12 months, I think gold is going way, way higher. So again, I'm bullish. I think, again, we have a longer term breakout. If we zoom out on the chart, this breakout occurred here. And again, even if you pull back in this range, it's just a pullback before you shoot even higher.
I agree with you. We talked about this, man. I totally agree with you, but I have a question for you because you have a lot more experience. So gold is going down, right? But yesterday a friend called me and told me that this morning, actually, not yesterday, sorry, that oil is going up, that there was a rise in oil. And my question is gold goes, okay, if oil is it because the dollar is going up that gold is going down, or vice versa?
Yeah, so the only thing you can make sense of, I think oil has to be, we have to keep in mind that oil trades off of a lot of geopolitical situations, right? So if the economy is starting, so also the economy. So if the economy is going to slow or perceived to slow, then oil demand will shrink and then prices would come down to meet that. And the same thing, if things get a little bit better in Russia, if things maybe calm down in that area, then oil would also decrease. So I'm not sure how coordinated those two things are, even though they're both commodities. I'm not sure how much the dollar has to do with it. Today, for instance, when I look at gold and the fall in gold, the number one thing that pops up is, number one, the chart told us that it kind of pierced this upper trend line, so it should fall. But then the other side of the coin is that if you look at the NASDAQ risk on assets, the NASDAQ's ripping today up 2.25%. And so usually what we see is that inverse relationship. When it's risk on, people sell gold because gold is a safety net, right? And I think that at least explains gold. Oil, it's a tricky one. I'm in the camp that oil still has a lot further downside to go, personally.
Yeah. All right. Now let me ask you. Let's have a look at some more charts here for some people. Now, when I chart cryptocurrencies, I only chart Bitcoin, and the reason is I think that's the indicator for all cryptocurrencies, and I don't believe you can really get a price point for cryptocurrencies. It's well, you can, but it's just easier to track Bitcoin, and then everything will follow that. It'll just do more or less.
Yeah.
But there are some people out there that are wondering, and we'll have a look at Invesco and everything and QQQ later on. Sorry, we'll have a look at other charts later on. But let's have a look at XRP for the people with XRP out there.
Okay. All right, here's your XRP chart. And so I think the big thing with XRP, right, is that we're all waiting on that judge's decision, the judge's ruling between the SEC versus Ripple.
Right.
And so listen, I mean, number one, anytime you're involved in a trade or investment where potentially a big move will come one way or the other off of something like this, you have to be a little careful. Now, if you just look at the chart to me doesn't look amazingly good here. You could see this was your former channel. We broke below it. We then retraced. We broke below. We retraced here. And you're kind of consolidating below this level. You haven't broken any of these two trend lines that are above it. And so for me, that's just kind of a cautionary thing of saying, listen, if I don't have, and again, this is important as an investor or trader, when you're making a decision to invest, I always like to feel like I have 80% success rate odds. When there's a judge's decision, and depending on if his coffee was right or her coffee was good in the morning, I just don't feel confident in that,
Yeah, I agree. So basically, you don't see the charts for XRP being good. What about generally, like, if you had some? So basically, you're pessimistic on XRP.
Yeah, I just, listen, it could go either way, but it's just one of those scenarios where the chart doesn't look amazing. So it's not telling me any insiders know anything that they're accumulating. Like that's one of the reasons why you pay attention to the chart, right? Is the chart all of a sudden started to have a bull flag accumulation? Then it's like, all right, does someone know something that the public doesn't know yet? But at this point, we're not seeing that on Ripple. So it's more of a no touch for me just because I don't have an edge. And if I don't have an edge, there's no sense in me investing.
I agree. Let's look at one more cryptocurrency. Can you pull up what cryptocurrency I'm going to give you here? Because this is one I've been telling people to get in for a while. And I just want you to see the price action. It's called Vulcan Forged.
What's the symbol on it?
Can't remember. Give me a second. It is PYR.
All right, got it. All right,
now, this is I've been in this for a while. Now, I had to sell 60% of my stack to get it off the exchange. I didn't want to get it off. I think it's going to do great. I think it's going to do very well. I just love the price action, even within the dip we had. Let me tell me what you see.
So the first thing I'm seeing is relatively new. So it looks like it just started last November, was it or so? So again, for a technical trader without a lot of price history, it makes it a little harder for me to analyze.
Exactly, yeah.
The short term that I do see is that here you have this trend line kind of right down here. So it is holding above that. So as long as it holds above that, that's a positive. You're also, it looks to me like you're making a higher low. So yeah, I mean, it's as things go, it's actually not too shabby. What I mean by higher low is here, you can actually put this trend line in right here. Right. In fact, if I adjust this to this high, it's almost a perfect parallel line with the lower one. So yeah, I mean, overall, it doesn't look, I don't know much about this, to be honest. I don't know much of what's going on, but in general, it's not a horrendous chart. What I wouldn't want to see is this lower trend line break. Yeah. As long as that doesn't break, then yeah, it looks fine.
Now, can you compare it to Bitcoin?
Sure. Let's see here. So like maybe throw a Bitcoin's chart up. Let me see. I don't do this very often, but let's see. So it looks like in general, it trades pretty much similar. Looks like the highs and the lows. Like, so for instance, this run up right here coordinates with this move on Bitcoin. Right. And then you have this little uptick right here in Bitcoin, the move right here. So yeah, it looks like it trades pretty similarly to the price action in Bitcoin, which is good for now until it matures, right? Obviously, the idea is that it matures into something where it trades on its own.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nice.
So anyway, just a little coin that I wanted to give out there. What other charts do you have for us?
Oh my goodness. All right. So let's take a look at Apple. I want to take a look at this chart on Apple. Let me get rid of Bitcoin here so we don't have that. So basically, Apple's trading in this really interesting kind of sideways choppy range. You can see it just had this monster move from the low end to the high end and a 50% retrace to this dotted line. So you are getting a bounce here. But eventually the question to me is, where does it go? And really, wherever Apple goes, they say the market goes, because it's a $3 trillion company. It's a mammoth. So I do pay attention to Apple in terms of marking, the market and how it looks like it could be trading. Otherwise, I've been keeping an eye on some of these, like a Zoom. Zoom's had a good retrace. I mean, it's down from $500, $600. It has this nice little bullish pattern down here. So
Nice
even though
little
I
gap.
think the markets have downside ultimately, there are certain charts out there that are worth risk versus reward here. And again, this would be one of them for me. I do have a position with verified investing alerts with it, where we're kind of consolidating off of this move up. And if this can break out, it could have at least a move up, maybe as high as 135 to 140, which percentage wise is a really big move. So stuff like that, I'm definitely keeping an eye on. I'm looking to reaccumulate some of the Chinese names as well. Here's Alibaba's chart. Again, monster downtrend, had this monster move from this low up to this trend line. Now it's pulled a big retrace. I love these type of setups where you have these big moves and then it does a 50 or 60 or 618 Fibonacci retrace, and then maybe accumulate kind of around $90 for maybe another move up, potentially a breakout. So the great thing about it is charts are charts. There's always action, whether you're trading crypto, whether you're trading stocks, there's always something to do, whether it's going long or short. And again, I think it's important to learn to read those charts.
Now, Gareth, you also have two massive gaps, both on Alibaba and Apple. Do you think those, do you believe those are going to fill soon?
Yeah. So very likely my thinking is that if the US stock market start to really decline and we go into another powerful decline, then I do think you do see a move down to fill it. I'm hopeful this is a longer term bottom on the trade, which is why, if I start to accumulate, let's say at around 90 or 88, what I'll do is I'll buy maybe a quarter share size position and then maybe another quarter here, maybe another quarter, basically dollar cost average in to get my average as close to that gap fill as possible. I like to always take a stab a little bit higher than a gap fill just in case it doesn't fully fill. So then you have exposure if it starts to run up, but I always leave myself room just in case it dips to that level to accumulate quite a bit more.
Now, gaps tend to fill up more on the upside rather than to the downside, correct?
Yeah, I think in general, if you look at the stats, you are correct on that. Yes.
So there's a gap up there, right above the resistant area to the left in December. No, just before.
Oh yeah, up here.
Yeah, what do you think? We're gonna get there, man?
I think we will. I'm just hopeful that I can accumulate some before that run comes in. But again, you look at this, and what I love about the Chinese names here is we've seen the Securities Exchange Commission start to get on the same page about keeping these companies listed in the US. That's big for investors. China has to know that they need the exposure to get lots of money into these companies. And that's a positive. Now you just have to worry about, is the regulation side of things over? The economy in China still is getting hit by COVID. They're continually having to shut down cities, but that will pass. And any sort of, one of the things to remember is during COVID, stocks like Amazon, which is kind of the equivalent of Alibaba, had an amazing run. So, maybe there's some sort of light at the end of the tunnel here for Alibaba.
Very true. I didn't think of that. See, there you go. Alibaba could be a very good play in general if you can accumulate it right now. So three pieces of advice we want for you, Gareth. People investing in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, people investing in gold, and people in stocks. What advice can you give each one of those sectors, if you will?
Oh my gosh. In crypto, just remember the history of crypto. It's only been around for, what is it now, 12 years or so, 13 years since 2009. So you don't have a lot of history to go by. But remember, in bear markets, we've seen an 80 to 85% decline. I don't necessarily think that will happen this time, but you have to, as an investor, be ready just in case. What I mean by that is be ready to dollar cost average. If you want to hold some now, just be ready and have that dry powder ready if that does happen. You don't want to put everything you got in at these levels in case it falls. So you want to be able to maneuver. Gold, I think gold is the answer in the near term. Bitcoin will far outperform gold in the future, but near term, the next couple of years, gold is going to be the place to be. I think it's an underinvested asset. And I think, again, it has already broken out. Look at the 1970s. I've talked with you, Paul, before about that, and it should be off to the races. And then was the last one stocks?
Stocks.
Stocks. So stocks, I think this is a trader's market. The Fed, we said, don't fight the Fed, or everyone said, don't fight the Fed when they were adding money. So you were supposed to be long. Well, if they're pulling it out, you got to be very careful here in terms of not fighting the Fed. It should mean be more defensive, be safe, be ready to be in and be out, be more of a trader than a long-term investor in this environment, in my opinion.
Gareth, thank you so much. Follow Gareth Soloway. I'll leave the links down below. If you can get your charts out the way just for 1 second.
Oh, yes, absolutely. There we go.
And you can also follow them at the links up here. Gareth, thank you so much, man. It's always a pleasure. See you in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely, Paul. Thanks for having me. I'll talk to you soon.
Take care. Bye-bye.